I'm standing here with my friend Patrick Aqua, who is actually a missionary from Ghana. And I want you to tell a little bit about your church back home, the church in Georgia, and how you got to Hawaii and what you're planning to do here.
Hello, hi, my name is Patrick Aqua. It's very simple, ACQUAH water, just like aqua water. Been with Lighthouse Chapel for the past 15 years. Came to the United States 15 years ago as a student. And I found my church, joined it, and through discipleship, I was able to enter the pastoral program. So I ended up pastoring a church in Atlanta for about 8 years. We had close to about 80 people, and we felt the Lord was leading us to Hawaii. So we came here. We started building a church from scratch, and we don't know what the Lord is going to do, but we believe that there are greater things in store for us, and we're just walking by faith and believing that God will use us to do what He wants us to do here. Our church back home is a missionary church. We've planted about 3,000 churches worldwide. We have churches in over 70 countries. And our vision is to have about 10,000 churches.
Oh, wait. I have to interrupt you for a second. You're telling me your church back home is a missionary church.
Yes.
You've planted over 3,000 churches.
3,000 churches. Not me, but the entire church, right?
But you're hoping to do 10,000 worldwide.
Right, 10,000 worldwide.
And where is the mother church located? What country?
Ghana, West Africa, a small country in West Africa of 20 million people.
So all of us Americans think of Ghana as a mission field, and yet Ghana is now not only sending missionaries to the world, you're sending missionaries to the United States.
Yes, I believe the Bible says we should go into all the world. So Ghana should be a mission field for the Americans, and America should be a mission field for Ghanaians. So we should be kind of crisscrossing each other.
That's exactly right.
Yep.
So what's the vision for your church as a movement for the United States?
Our goal is to plant a church in every state. Our vision is to have over 100 churches. We've exceeded that, but we're still kind of localized in certain states. So there's still opportunities in Alaska, Hawaii, the northern states, Utah, Vermont, places that people wouldn't like to go. But a lady just left to Alaska, and she started a church. A lady from Ghana, same person like me, went to Alaska, started a church, small church, but it's a mustard seed, but definitely it's gonna grow to become a bigger church one day. But a vision, if I can summarize that, is to have a church in every state and plant over 100 churches. So we've already exceeded that number, and who knows where we're gonna go from there. Yeah.
One last thing, a lot of pastors are kind of weird about a term that we've always used, bivocational, which means that you have to have a secular job in order to be a pastor. Some people are saying it's a freelance thing, that I know that you're an engineer, that you work for a telecommunications company, and you're a freelance pastor. Is that a fair way of describing that?
Yeah, without bivocational ministry, the gospel cannot reach the world. The churches don't have enough money to send people to all over the world. And Paul was a bivocational person. Daniel was a bivocational, we call it lay ministry. Daniel was a lay minister. He was a prime minister, but still served in Babylon. Paul was one. And most of God's people, had, jobs that they did and, fulfilled their ministry. So without that, we think the gospel would not be preached. I mean, think about sending a missionary to Hawaii, how much money he has to live on, kind of take care of himself, his family, his wife, and all that stuff is going to cost a lot. So we think that that's the way, that's the tent ministry, as the Bible call it. That's the way to go, and that's the Bible's prescribed way for us to reach the world. Without that, I think the ministry is going to grind to a halt, and people are going to just work for the salary. But it's kind of very sacrificial, and we're willing to do it for the gospel, for Christ, for that one soul that we can win in Hawaii. Who knows? That's going to be the next Billy Graham. So. I like it. I think it's the way to go. You shouldn't rely on your church for a paycheck. Find a job and do the work of God.
And the truth is that guys who have a good job in the secular world probably make more, especially if you're pastoring a smaller church.
Yep.
And you can send your kids to university, and you get to take vacations and all those things you wouldn't do if you're relying on the church for a salary.
You wouldn't do that, and it can impact your ministry. If the church is not big enough to absorb your paycheck, then you can be frustrated with the people if they're not giving you enough money via tithes and offerings. You can be frustrated, and you don't want money to kind of muddle your ministry. So once you kind of divorce from that, and you don't look at the people as paychecks, but more as sheep that you can pastor and grow and disciple for them to become ministers one day kind of frees you from the burden of being tied to money or salary all the time. So I think it's the way to go. In some cases, the church might be big enough to absorb a pastor's paycheck. That's great. But I think for the sake of the gospel, if we want the gospel to reach the world, I think we should go the bivocational way and spread the gospel. Yeah.
Good. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.